have this cool Victorinox wallet that holds 6 cards. Well, I put 7 on it, but it's meant to hold 6. It also has these very useful everyday carry-on utilities. Most of them are useful. I mean, it's got a toothpick, which I never use, but apart from that, very useful tools. Has a penknife, scissors, flat head screwdriver, a pen. Fortunately, it's blue, not black. Tweezers. The thing is, since we don't really need to carry credit cards anymore, I find that I don't take the wallet with me anymore. It just like stays either in the car or at home, which is a shame. The only thing that I carry around all the time is my phone. And this got me thinking, maybe I can merge the things I want to carry around all the time onto the actual phone. Things like the tools from the wallet, the infamous gym chip, which I've never known what to do with it, or a bottle opener. More on that in a bit. I started by making sure it all fits on the back of the phone. I also wanted to make sure that I will still have the option to wirelessly charge the phone with the MagSafe option and stick things on the back like this cool Ulanzi tripod that I've been using lately. The cover itself will be TPU since it needs to be flexible and squishy, but the actual utilities will have to sit in a more rigid plastic like PLA or ABS. I'm going to be sharing my Onshape file down in the description. I'm also going to be uploading all my files onto MakerWorld. If you by any chance have a Victorinox wallet or a Swiss card, you could print it out for yourself. My design fits an iPhone 17, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue to update the parameters to fit any smartphone out there. Designing the holders was an iterative process to say the least. And by the way, whenever you hear that something was an iterative process, it kind of diminishes the sense of ingenuity in the idea. But the truth is, all great implementations come after a series or a long series of iterations. It's the only real way to make a great idea into a great thing. All of the big companies do just that. They just iterate until it works. Now, a word on the actual Victorinox wallet. The tolerances are just perfect. Each one of the tools just clicks into place. Usually it's got a satisfying click, and once it's in place, it stays in place and it will never come out. And that's what I try to achieve with my holders. It took a while. It made sense to design each one of the holders separately. That way, each time I completed one or made one right, I didn't have to reprint an already solved issue. The scissors holder was by far the most complicated. I'm pretty much wrapped up with the design of the holders for the actual penknife, the flathead screwdriver, the tweezers, and the pen. The only one I'm still struggling with is the scissors. So the scissors just pop in. You see that? When it goes in. Once it's in, it doesn't come out, no matter how much I've tried shaking it like crazy. Nothing happens. Nothing. It just doesn't. The cards come out, but not the scissors. The holder that I've designed looks like this. And once I put it in, it goes in. It doesn't click into place, but it also doesn't hold inside. What I really wanted was to see the inside of this. I even tried using an X-ray machine that I've got at work. Under X-ray, plastic is practically invisible, so you couldn't see anything. But if you shine a light inside it, through this I can actually see, I can trace out the exact pattern on the wallet. And now I can take a picture of that and we can move on to designing it in CAD. To be a bit higher, a bit steeper,
Money.
And then first attempt of the iPhone cover that's been printed in TPU here in my hands, and I printed it upside down so that I get a clean representation of where all the different accessories should be. But printing it upside down creates a massive surface of support that you need to remove. Just like have a look at how much support I've got here. And it's just, the surface just is not good enough. So I'm gonna have to print it with the back face down. And that presents other issues, like what about all the support that will be created here? Well, I've already thought about that as well. We're not going to be using support. What we're going to do is pause the print at each required level and just add the accessories in as we go. And then the accessories will hopefully be the supports. But I do need to make the bottle opener before I start this venture, and also release my chip that's been captured in this chip keyring for the last few months. So let's do that now. So I have the iPhone cover, and the biggest issue I'm having is how to print it, because if I print it with the inner part down, the amount of support that's created is pretty unbearable, and it's impossible to just like cleanly take it off. If I had a dual nozzle printer like the H2D or the H2C, what you can do is you can print the support with PLA and the actual print in TPU, and then it just like easily disconnects. I can't do that. But what I can do is print it on its back side, and each time I get to the top layer of a hole, for instance, for the chip, for the gym chip, I will pause the print, I will put the chip inside and let the print continue. And then the actual pieces of the utility knife, scissors and all that, or the chip or the bottle opener will be used as support. Basically, that's the idea. So I'm gonna have to pause it on each one of the different heights, and hopefully it'll work.
Money.
So I have the first working version here. It's pretty good actually for the first time. A few deficiencies. First of all, there was a layer here that was skipped, so I'm definitely gonna have to redo it. And if I'm going to redo it, I'm also going to update the design, hopefully just one more time. One of the button holes is a bit off. The bottle opener was a complete failure. I can open beer bottles with practically anything, may it be a spoon, a lighter or a plastic bottle. If I open a beer bottle with my iPhone cover, which of course I do, it damages it. A bottle opener is basically a hard surface and a lever. Usually it's one piece that serves both purposes. Since I have the technique to be that lever, all I need is a hard surface. So I took a flat piece of metal and added it to the iPhone cover. I messed up a few times, it either fell out or was too far from the edge of the phone, but I kind of got there in the end. The hole for the cameras on the light is a bit off, so I need to update that. The sides are a bit too thick and a bit too high. Don't know if you can see that here, but you can definitely knock off a mil on the actual depth of the cover. But all in all, we're doing pretty well. There's a problem, I think one of the only unsolved problems is the MagSafe metal, the MagSafe ring, not being able to sit. It doesn't fit snugly into its place. I'm going to retry that, and we'll have to see. So let's get back onto the design.
Money.
I'm so terrible. I do what
The second try was too bulky and the third too delicate with a weird texture to it. They were also just bad prints. The H2S has real issues printing with TPU. Since it's flexible, it can't be fed through the AMS like normal filaments. Also, it's an absolute bitch feeding the filament in through the back each time. It's just not ideal. So to make the next CPU prints as high quality and hassle-free as possible, I decided to place the spool in front and above of the printer. You may be asking yourselves why I didn't design and 3D print something. Well, it would have taken a few hours to print and I was anxious to move on with round 4. This way it took me 24 minutes and we were good to go. I always say how much I prioritize time efficiency and functionality over aesthetics. I'm just good to my word. Besides, it always feels to me like a waste of time to print add-ons to the printer when there are so many other things to print. I'm using a see-through clear blue TPU which should look real nice. And the add-ons are all black for the accessories, for the utilities. Obviously you've got the gym chip blue, which should blend in with the TPU blue. I'm not the best when it comes to matching colors. As a good example, you can see the ceiling panels that I put on a few months back. The color is just the worst color I could have chosen. The worst color. So here it is, my Frankenstein iPhone cover that holds my gym chip, a bottle opener, and a bunch of the coolest Victorinox tools you can carry around. I could easily improve on this. Some of the tolerances are a bit too loose, others are a bit too tight, but the tools don't fall. I can open bottles with the bottle opener, and most important, I can still use magnetized MagSafe accessories to add on to the actual iPhone. The link to my Onshape file where I designed everything that was added to this iPhone cover you can find in the description. I will be adding the print files to Make a World, and I want to hear everything you have to say about this, where I effed up, what I missed and what I could have done better. As always, thank you for your time and I'll see you on the next one.